The Motorola Razr Fold and the OPPO Find N6. One of these seems more premium than the other, but it's not why you think. Let's talk about it. Now, both of these are pretty premium, but one feels more premium than the other. And the thing is, they're both the exact same 6.6 inch on the outside, and then on the inside, they're both the same or close to it. This is 8.1 and this is 8.01, I think, something like that. Anyway, they're really close, and they both have excellent camera systems. But when we're talking about the feel and the look, this OPPO does look really premium. It's a beautiful device, Everything looks right. This is embossed in there. It's really nice. And it has a clean look here to the rounded camera housing. So everything's really clean, and even straight edges, if you can see here. Everything's nice and straight and aligned. It's just beautiful. Even the hinge, everything's nice. And what also makes this really premium feeling is it is lightweight. It's like 225 grams versus 243 over here. So as far as the feel in the hand, it does feel a lot lighter. And it has that straight edge flat screen all the way across. There is no rounding the corners on it. So it really makes it look premium. And then of course, when you open it up, you have that lens right there, or that screen that is just no crease in that thing whatsoever. You can't hardly see any crease. And then of course, when you compare it to the counterpart here, which is the Motorola, it's definitely a heavier feel at 243 grams right away. And the back is not metal. It's kind of a faux leather, or whatever you want to call it. But it looks really slick. This is embossed in there where it says Razr. And I have like the nice little logo here. Now the camera setup is raised, and it's got that square stovetop look. It's boxy, as compared to this round one. And it does rise up a little bit thicker. And as far as the phone goes, it's not quite as straight edged as we get with the OPPO, but it does have a really nice rounded feel to it, which makes it a softer feel in your hand. And I actually really like that. I think it's a little more comfortable than the squared off. Of course, this isn't so squared off like the Samsung, which is ridiculous. And then of course, in the corners, it's rounded here, and this one's rounded here. So they both feel just as good in the hand. But when it comes time to opening it, because it is rounded around here, you have more area to grip. And because the button is up further on the Motorola, there's a lot more surface to grip. Makes it a little easier to open, although the hinge on this thing is just as stiff, even though it's a little older. But it's a little harder to grip because your fingers can't get in between the joint here as well, because it's all squared off. Now, of course, they both have that AI button on the side there, which is not anything I ever use. So that's not really something that makes it premium. And then the Motorola also has that rounded screen. I don't know if you can see it from the video up above, but it is kind of rounded here on the edges. So it's not quite as squared off as the OPPO is, which, it'd be a personal preference whether you think that is a premium feel or not. Now, the bottom line is they both underneath are made of pretty much the same material. They're aluminum, and they have a really solid feel. Now, they are both Android 16, and they are both currently updated in their software, and that's the familiarity about them both. And the displays on these are both gorgeous, and they both have a really quick refresh rate on both of them. You turn here and you can just slide through everything really quick. They're both very fluid, which is really nice. But as far as where the Motorola, I think, wins is it's more pure Android. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, you can see here you have kind of an iOS theme here, with the liquid glass, right here. You don't have that over here. Here, everything's just pure Android. And you can change the settings so it's more like the Pixel, which we know the Pixel is pure Android because it's solid Android device made by Android or Google. But there are things that I do like about the version of ColorOS that we have here on the OPPO Find N, and that's the customization here of your homepage. You can see here these icons. You got some long ones here of the folders. Okay, you got some alongside here on the Motorola. You can only do large or small. So that's the one downfall of pure Android is it is a little boring. But with that, it has a little more integration of Google's Gemini. For example, so when you go into any kind of communication here, such as texting or email, or in this case, my comment section here of a video, you can see here, you can go ahead and comment right there, and then you have the text editor and a keyboard. Everything's kind of laid out the same, and they are both using the Google keyboard or Gboard, if you would. But notice the difference. On the Motorola, you have the AI assistant right here, okay? Writing tools. You don't have it anywhere here. Even if you go here and look at all the different tools, there's nothing there in the OPPO Find N using Google keyboard that'll help me do that. And it's very helpful on a day-to-day basis with emails, text messaging, and even things like this where it will correct my stuff. You can get corrected text on the OPPO, don't get me wrong there, but it will not help you with the grammar. It will not help you rewrite it. Say you write something professionally at work and you think it sounds too professional or not friendly enough, you can get the AI here assistant to rewrite it for you right there on the keyboard. That's not something you could do on the OPPO Find N6. Now, that's just one thing, integration that I use on a daily basis. There may be others, and you all can let me know down in the comments if there are. Now, as far as battery, I did do a full battery test on this video. I show you a clip here where you see the Razr actually did outlast the OPPO running everything all at once, and in that test, of course, it's not like your everyday use, because I was just keeping them on and running them and tasking them until they died. And of course, the OPPO died just a little bit sooner than the Motorola. Now, cameras is where things really get interesting. Let's talk about that. Now, I did do a whole comparison video where we talked about the cameras on both of them, but bottom line is they are both excellent. When it comes to zooming in, it seemed like the OPPO actually did a little bit better and more detail. But as far as true colors and everything, that went to the Razr. And then overall, they are both great at photos during the day and videos. But when it comes to nighttime, the Razr has an edge. It has much better video capturing with its cameras than the OPPO does. Not quite sure why, but maybe it's just some updates that can fix this. But when it comes to selfies, oh boy, the Razr is horrible about selfies. I think the OPPO Find N does much better. So if you do a lot of blogging or you do a lot of selfies with these external cameras, well, then the OPPO would be definitely the one to go with. So which one should you really buy? Let's cover that next. Well, buying these things really all depends on where you live. Globally, the Razr is definitely a much simpler phone to get, and especially here in the United States, because you can get it and you get service here locally with it, where the OPPO, you have to import it, and importing it creates a lot of complications, especially if you have to have service for it. It can get expensive shipping it out and getting it back, and you're really not quite sure what kind of coverage you get. And then when it comes to updates, because it is a foreign made, even though this is a global model, I seem to have difficulty getting more of the updates with these Chinese or foreign phones. Same thing with the Honor Magic. They get all the updates a lot later, where the Motorola should get those before everybody else, but Motorola has been notorious for being slow about updates, so we've still got that to live and find out, since it's only been out a month yet and hasn't quite got its first update. But I got to say, with that being the case, there's not a whole lot of bugs or anything with this. There's just a few things that I would like them to get fixed with an update. So if you're in a location where you can get both of them easy and get the coverage from both of them, well, then it's really a toss-up. I can say that ColorOS is a little bit funner to work with because of all the added features and customization that you can do. It does make it a little bit more fun. But when it comes to working and practicality, I think the Razr, for me anyway, is a much better workhorse with having Gemini and everything integrated better. And then it also has that worry-free support because it is available in the country I'm in, which is the US. So getting any kind of warranty service or updates should be quite a bit simpler than the OPPO Find N6. And then there's carrier support with both of these. The Motorola Razr is available on any carriers in the United States, where the OPPO is only working well on T-Mobile. Some of you may be able to have it working on AT&T or Verizon. Let us know down in the comments if you do. But I think for the most part, the Razr is going to be more compatible. And then when it comes to cost, you know, importing a phone is very expensive. So you're not going to get this phone for under $2,000 or more, where this thing right now new is $1899. And because it is in the US, you can do trade-ins with this phone, which is what I've done, where the OPPO, I can't trade in anything for this phone because I can't buy directly from the manufacturer. I have to go through a third party. And when you do that, there are no trade-ins. So with that in mind, you can get a much better deal, and this could be much more cost-effective and affordable than the OPPO Find N6. Back to the original thought, is the OPPO Find N6 more premium than the Razr? Well, if you just go with the aesthetics and the looks and the feel, I would say yes, it is. But when you combine everything else like software, compatibility, availability, service, support, and then cost, I'd say definitely for me, the Razr feels a little more premium to have in my pocket and my daily use. And it's definitely way up there over Samsung and Pixel. So let me know, what do you think? Do you agree with me? Do you think I'm way off my rocker? Or do you, like me, think it's really too close to call and it is mostly personal preference and availability? Let me know down in the comments. If you got something out of this video and you really liked it, do me a favor and smash that like button down below, because it really does help out the channel. If you haven't subscribed yet, make sure you subscribe to the channel as well, because I've got a lot more content coming out, especially with the newer phones coming out from Samsung and Apple. We're going to cover those foldables as well. If you want to see that direct battle between these two I mentioned, check out this video here. Until next time, have a wonderful day and God bless.